Once you have traveled, the voyage never ends, but is played out over and over again in the quietest chambers. The mind can never break off from the journey, once said by Pat Conry. The voyage in my mind has the calm, tranquil sounds of the ocean attached to the feeling of the sun touching my skin. The image of the double yellow lines give me a mere suggestion of where I might go in grounds I have never passed through. This place in time that my mind escapes to in its idle moments was during September 2008, when I had a week break during study abroad in Australia. A friend of mine from back home and I decided to rent a camper van and travel the roads of the country we have never been in before. Our adventure started in Wollongong and traveled down the coastline towards Narooma, passing through Merimbula, winding up at Lake's entrance, then going to Melbourne and stopping at Torquay, then making our way to Bell's Beach and driving on the Great Ocean Road, only to cut through the country and wind up passing Wagga Wagga and heading back to Wollongong and Sydney. This trip took 8 days, and it was quite possibly the best week of my life. For once, the image of freedom was right in front of me, and I was chasing after it. The van that we had rented was dubbed Dartha Vador, for the obvious reason attached to the spray paint design that came with it. The first day with Dartha wasn't even on the open road, but in a parking lot where I first learned how to drive a stick shift. After a 2-hour lesson and a little practice, the next day was smooth sailings, as they say, but with a stall here and there. Once out of the familiar stomping grounds of Wollongong, Gerringong was the first breathtaking spot. Even though we passed through it, it was the first realization of how gorgeous this trip was truly going to be. The landscape image could have been all I needed to see to be content. But to be honest, this was the first place I saw, and thereafter everything was just as beautiful and just as breathtaking. Even the highway we mainly stayed on, which was called Princess Highway, was the most scenic one I have ever seen. It was a surprise with every turn in the road, either bringing us closer to the water's edge or the vast, hilly grassland of the country. And the beaches weren't simple sand and ocean. They had picturesque cliffs as borders, and grass hills that just beckoned the salt water. The sand was smooth, and the water revealed the ocean bottom. And the words that I'm saying cannot even account for what it was like to surf in that water, or see the 12 Apostles, or even Bell's Beach. The entire journey stays prominent in my mind, as it was one of the most eye-opening experiences. The ease of travel was never introduced to me before, and will now stay with me forever.